Welcome back to the Sonny Talk Spurs YouTube channel. And before I was going to record a long form video with my guest today, there's just been a huge bit of breaking news that we're going to react to. And before we get into that, obviously, if you are new to the Sonny Talk Spurs YouTube channel, then leave a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and let me know in the comments down below what you make of this breaking transfer news. And I'm joined with Billy T, obviously of massive Twitter Tottenham fame. How are you doing, Billy?
Yeah, very good, man. First day of the holidays for me, so we're looking forward to seeing some transfer rumors drop in. And yeah, we got a pretty big one today, right?
Yeah, let's hope with you taking your holiday, it's a bit like Alistair
That's
Gold when he
exactly,
takes a
man.
holiday, and
That's
it's
what I'm
just gonna
hoping.
all it's all gonna
Floodgates will
kick off.
open now because it's been a bit dry last week or so, hasn't it, man?
Yeah, well, we're coming up to the 2-week anniversary of Morgan Gibbs-White,
Yeah.
so I honestly, it's just I have no idea. But before we get onto this breaking news, me and Billy are recording another little bit of a long form video talking about the transfer market and all that sort of good stuff. So go and check that out. That'll be live tomorrow. But Matt Law has just tweeted Billy saying Tottenham retain interest in Liverpool target Marc Guehi, and he also gave details of the key player clause that always made Heung-Min's son departure before the South Korea summer tour highly unlikely. So I want to get your reaction to this because last week as well, we were linked with I think it was a loose link, but it was a transfer of Zabarnyi from
hmm
Bournemouth to Tottenham, and a lot of people were saying, after Romero played the other day against Reading, and we've got Van der Ven, Vuskovic looking good. Like, do we need another centre back really? But Marc Guehi, the rumours don't seem to be going away. We obviously bid for him in the January window, but we don't know if that was like a PR bid from Levy to keep the fans happy. Liverpool obviously remain interested in wanting to sign Gay as well. So how do you see this one?
And interestingly, Matt Law also mentions the Zabrani as well, and the article says we've
Mm.
definitely asked to be keeping check with his price tag. So I think to me it says like one of either two things. One thing is that we're looking to play a back three next season at some points because, obviously we have our two established centre backs in Van der Ven and Romero. We've also got pretty good depth now in Vuskovic, Danso, and Takai as well. So there's a lot of depth there. So the second thing it could say to me is maybe Romero's leaving, which would be a bit worrying, seeing as a lot of the noise has been quite positive this season. We know that Atletico Madrid have obviously dropped out of the race to sign him. We know that Thomas Frank says he's going to be here next season. So it's interesting the fact that we're still looking for a sort of centre-back, which is going to cost upwards of 50, 60 million. Both of those players that we linked with there are really expensive. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd be buzzing to sign either of them. They're two really high-quality centre-backs. I just think it'd be interesting to see what it says about us going forward and maybe the fact that we might actually be playing a back three again next year. What do you think?
Yeah, I just feel like maybe there's the two things that you haven't mentioned there that could be key is we obviously know the injury record of
Yeah.
Romero and Van der Ven, mainly Van der Ven. Gay can play on both sides. He's comfortable on the left. We've seen that from him at England, especially last summer at the Euros. So that's key. And then maybe, and what we're seeing from a lot of these teams now is future proofing, like the
Yeah,
summer before, where you might see Romero, who I believe's got 2 years left on his
he does.
deal.
Yeah.
So say like next year he goes into his last year of his deal, we might get little bit less money, and the market might be a bit more scarce. It's getting that deal done now. Whereas I guess with Liverpool, who we could say are the rivals in this transfer war, they're still unsure about the future of Kanate. But they could also do with the depth, even if they kept Kanate. I feel like Liverpool, and they've shored up their defense already with Kirkes and Frimpong. But yeah, I feel like that's the key point you make there, Billy. The whole the back three, because I guess we've seen Dorrington's gone out on loan. I assume Ashley Phillips will go out on loan. Takai, has been heralded as a really good signing and a massive pickup for £5 million, but we don't know what it'll be like at this level. Obviously, at the weekend, all we saw in the Reading game was us playing a four at the back. We haven't seen us
Yep.
yet play a three at the back, but I assume we won't do it against Luton. We'll do it against Newcastle, Bayern, and Arsenal when we play them in pre-season. So I think like the Marc Guehi stuff looks good on paper. 25 years old, really, English, which we seem to be going down that route of signing English players to keep up with that quota. So, yeah, I'm. It's just one of those ones where I feel like Tottenham have not operated like this before.
Yeah.
When we're replacing, we're usually replacing someone like for like in these scenarios. And I said this on many transfer videos. If we get rid of Romero, go and get Guehi. But then I remember there was a report saying that I think Guehi didn't even want to join us about a month ago. So yeah, it's a bit all up in the air, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think it's a really interesting thing that Tottenham fans, and myself included, sometimes slip into is we're so alien of having this idea of a really good squad because it's not something we've ever really had for a long time. We've always had a decent first 11 without the sort of the squad players to back it up. And this kind of signing and the same kind of things were happening when we were linked with Gibbs-White as well. People were saying, I don't really see where he fits in the starting 11. But then you look at the teams that or the squads, I should say, that Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea build, and they don't ask those kind of questions. So I think sometimes as Tottenham fans, it's quite an alien idea to us to have a player like Marc Guehi, who might not necessarily even be a starter, but sign for a significant amount of money, just because we're not used to seeing that kind of squad building. But to compete at the top level, and let's not forget our chairman said this summer that we want to compete in all four competitions, as did our manager, then this kind of signing is what you need to do. You know, you need to have squad players that come in that are really high quality, and Marc Guehi or Zabarnyi would definitely be that.
And I think even as a fan base, we have said, you know, even when we were looking into buying Kudus, we were like, do we need him? Do we need a winger like that?
Yeah,
We've got
Tottenham,
Son.
we slip into that mode quite often as Tottenham fans, I
It's
think.
like we're like, oh, we don't need him. It's like, but we haven't got a winger like him. Same with Morgan Gibbs-White. I remember like everyone was like, it's almost like, you know, say in the start of the summer when you go like name the players you want to sign, and someone went Morgan Gibbs-White, you'd be like, oh no, you know, we've got Maddison, we've got Kulusevski. You'd want him like as a Spurs fan, but you just think it's you know, it's not easy to get, even though it isn't. It's looking like it isn't easy to get. But I guess finally, Billy, then to wrap this video up of this reaction to the transfer, if you're offered the choice of Guehi or Zabrani, who are you taking?
For the fact that you mentioned earlier, I'm going Guehi just because he's English. I think that's a huge. If you look at our current squad problems that we have, you know, there's a huge homegrown issue. Not a huge homegrown issue, but there's a huge club trained issue. And I guess it's just better long term if we, you know, English players are easier to then register in various different competition and things. So I go Marc Guehi. I'd be delighted with either sign of those. To be honest with you, mate, I think it would be another sign that maybe this season we are going to operate differently in the transfer market and actually build a squad rather than a first 11. It'd be really encouraging. Either of them would be really encouraging to me. And it seems like, I don't know if you picked up on this as well. It seems like we're buying Prem proven ready players this summer. That's what we're targeting because all of our targets so far, you know, the top targets anyway, have played in the Premier League. And what do you think about that? Do you think that's a good sign that we, you know, Kudus, Morgan Gibbs-White, Guehi, Zabarnyi, they're all Premier League level players? Do you think that's a switch that we've done on purpose?
I think that's what the fans wanted, didn't they? We thought we weren't going to be shopping in these markets, and when Fabio Paratici was around and Johan Lang, it was either, you know, Paratici raiding his little black book for Serie A players who were, you know, down and outs, and then Johan Lang going for those sort of youngsters from, you know, here, there, and everywhere. So yeah, it's good, and we're actually, you know, Levy's putting his money where his mouth is. So I do like the idea of that. My one thing is, and I feel like I always connect these teams like Bournemouth, Palace. They usually only like selling one high profile asset each year. So if you look at Palace, you got the Guehi, but you got Eze. I think I can see Eze staying now. I'm not sure if he'll
It's gone
go
quiet a bit,
Arsenal.
hasn't it, that one? It's gone quiet a bit, that one.
Completely quiet. I mean, there's a little rumor about Chelsea. So Guehi might be the asset they sell. Problem with Bournemouth is obviously they've
They've already
tied
lost it, man.
they've tied Semenya down, so that's fine. But then Kirkus is gone. Dean Hulson or Hodgson or whatever you say, he's gone. If you're getting rid of three out of your back four, I mean that's crazy. And I think a lot of people, I even saw Sean on his channel, was still surprised that he thought Zabrani was gone already to PSG. So
Yeah,
the
I
fact
thought it
that
was as well. There was a lot of noise right at the beginning of the transfer window, wasn't there?
and that just went all quiet. But yeah, I feel like
And I think the
we'll
thing
see
is,
with
for
this one.
why it went quiet and why the other ones you mentioned go quiet is because the finance of the Premier League now, like these teams are under absolutely no pressure whatsoever to sell these players. Like 50, 60 million pounds isn't going to sort of break the water with Palace and Bournemouth now because, you know, mid-level Premier League clubs are so rich that it takes you know, I remember obviously we would all absolutely love to sign Adam Morton, but you're talking, you know, 80 million is not going to touch the size of Palace anymore. And it's probably the same with Guehi. Like, I think we went for 55 million January, didn't we? You know, they're under no pressure to accept that kind of money anymore. So these players, it's going to take huge bids to get them to move. I think PSG were linked with what 80 million for Zabriani, and that didn't get accepted. So yeah, these players will take crazy money to go now. That's just the way that selling in the Premier League is now.
And you got to look at just like Mbuemo. They like that
Yeah,
Brentford weren't budging on him, and the average winger in the Premier League now is costing between 50 and 60, 70 million. So, yeah, one to keep an eye on, I guess. But yeah, so as I said at the beginning of the video, me and Billy are after this recording another video talking about Tottenham at the moment, going into pre-season. More transfer talks to go, and check that out. And also, Billy, where can the people at home find you?
Oh yeah, Billy_T on Twitter.
And there you go. Well, we'll see you guys then. Make sure you like, subscribe in the comments down below. Let me know if you want to sign Guehi. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. Bye.